When we talk about Confucius, we're talking about a philosopher who died almost 2,500 years ago, a man whose life we know very little about, which is why it's amazing how much his influence is still felt today.
Chinese culture, Chinese society is so much of Confucian society.
Ji-Lu Liu is a visiting professor of philosophy at Cal State Fullerton.
Even though people may not know this is Confucius' teaching, even though they are not following his teaching or listening to the doctrine, the way they interact with each other is all prescribed by Confucius.
Confucius laid out a prescription for how a person should live his or her life. It's not about happiness or self-fulfillment. It's about humility, respect for one's elders, and education.
In the traditional society, parents would have absolute authority, and children have to just obey. There will be no consideration of nursing home or abandoning the parents, and that's a lifelong commitment. I was brought up in that kind of atmosphere, even though my parents did not study Confucianism. But there's always this kind of implicit idea that to study means to never give up your effort, to always strive at your best. And there is that Chinese saying that learning is like rowing a boat upstream, so whenever you stop, you're going backwards. So you can't relax, you can't take breaks. You just always need to go to the next step.
I find it difficult to boast about myself. Most Americans don't have any problem there.
Him Mark Lai grew up in San Francisco's Chinatown. His first name, Him, means modesty. When he was a boy, Him's father taught him Confucian proverbs.
Well, one of the things I remember is that I should every day examine myself. Am I true to others? Am I, honest? And I think the main thing that I get from Confucian philosophy is don't go to extremes. And of course, that is very, very contrary to Western philosophy too, which is you got to be a winner. You don't compromise, I think the thing is, in the Chinese, the family also gets into the act to do well in education and do well in life, also a reflection of the family. And the family do pitch in to help so that together, even though individually they may not make enough, but together there's enough so that they can get an education and be successful. So I think the family part is different from American ethos.
The Confucian concept of a moral person is, in a lot of ways, the traditional Chinese concept of a moral person. I asked Ji-Lu to describe what that life is like.
Internally, he will be constantly examining himself. He would always ask himself whether he is doing his best, whether he is putting up his best effort, whether he is being honest with his friends, whether he is dutiful, whether he is proper in all different social contexts. He's someone who is kind of careful in self-examination. So there were stories about Confucius, for example, if he walked by a funeral procession, he would just change his appearance. He would show respect. He would not be laughing or talking out loud when other people are engaged in something serious. So he's always observant of what's going on around him. The Confucian tradition is not your self. That's being selfish, because there's no self outside of a family or a society network. So your self is defined in terms of how you can contribute to the family and how you can contribute to society.
For Philosophy Talk, this is Amy Standen.